All right, so we are joined once again by my friend, Dr. Ora Tanner, there from Tampa, Florida. We got a room full here with us at Velma Jackson High School. This is for our computer science engineering class, and we're recording this for all of our friends, middle school, high schools in Madison County schools, and our YouTube channel. But I got to give a shout out to my friend Angela Jordan over there at Shirley Simmons Middle School. So we thank you so much for taking some time out of your incredibly busy schedule. The founder of Black Unicorn Education there in Florida. So thank you so much for taking some time for us today.
No, I'm excited to be here and to talk to your students about a topic that's my favorite, which is artificial
Yeah.
intelligence.
Oh yeah, and I know even since we talked last year, I'm sure so much has changed with all these changing technologies and all so many industries now are affected by artificial intelligence. So, but before we get into that, give us a little bit about your background. I know before we started recording, we talked a little bit. You're a graduate of Dillard University down in New Orleans, and then just take us through all your multiple degrees because I think I'll put it up against anybody.
Yeah, so I got my bachelor's in physics from Dillard in New Orleans. I originally wanted to be an astronaut, but then I was just like, that seems boring. I don't want to do that. So I'll become a physicist because that's easier, I guess. But I have my master's in physics where my specialty was nuclear medicine. So if you think about the scientists in the lab mixing chemicals, that was me. I was doing breast cancer and brain cancer
Wow.
research and how do you treat that with highly radioactive materials, so nuclear medicine. Um, Not doctor yet, but 2013, I started on my PhD in instructional technology because I
Wow.
wanted to figure out how can we use technology to create better learning experiences for students, whether that's creating video games, VR experiences, or just anything else you can do with technology. So
Wow. Well, and you left a lot out. You're so humble. But just really, really a lot of great work you've done. But obviously the first thing we hear about when it comes to artificial intelligence, we hear on the news and all these pundits all the time, artificial intelligence is going to take our jobs. It's going to replace the human. And I think it's important for people to understand that that is 100% not the case.
right. And I don't know if I'm able to present because I did present like a little
Yeah.
presentation, if I'm able
Yeah.
to show
Yeah,
your
absolutely. I
students.
forgot to turn the share on. Our active shooter drill kind of didn't let me get it set up. But yeah, you have the ability to share. I'd love to see it.
Okay. But in the meantime, AI is not going to take your jobs. It's more a tool for you to use for your jobs and to make you better at what you're doing. The types of tasks, I like to look at it more as AI will replace some tasks within jobs. So things that are rote, repetitive, mundane, that you're just doing again and again, that doesn't require like any creativity or innovation or anything like that. It will take those tasks away. Um, but I will go ahead and
Yeah, I would love to
show.
see some of the stuff you're working on. I know I see a lot of your speaking engagements, things you speak on, and I just think it's incredible all the stuff you present.
Okay. Hopefully you're. Oh, wait a minute. I have to make sure I forgot to click the little button because I do want you to hear some sound for some things I have. Here we go.
Awesome,
Okay.
we got it.
Can you
Awesome, we
see?
got it.
Okay. So I will go through this quickly so I have time for some questions as well. So any platform I go through, I always have to give honor to my sponsor, who is God. You're wondering which one? That one. Um, and then, as you said, I'm a nuclear physicist. I'm a researcher. Turned kind of did a 180, got into education. So I have taught, middle school, high school, actually preschool and elementary. I'm a technologist, and over the last 5 years, I've been an AI educator. The last two, I've been an entrepreneur. And the name of my company is called Black Unicorn Education, where we're doing tech education done differently. And basically, the whole goal and the mission is to make tech make sense by any creative means necessary. So I don't think that learning about technology has to look like school. So I'm trying to find unique ways, whether it's a comedy show or just like 2 weeks ago, I did this new project I have called Gen AI for All Generations. And I did a Gen AI family fun night. So, did some workshops, people could bring their families. I had a bunch of stations set up. So even if you're in elementary, middle, high school, you can learn together with your family. This is some people with their mom where she was using AI to create a logo. Like you can actually type in what you want to look like. And so they were excited about that. I love this one because this is like made like a song about kittens, I think, using AI. We could take pictures. I had AI inspired snacks. I used AI to come up with the recipe. So I'm just trying to go into and in fun ways, engaging ways that don't look like school, help people learn. So the work I have done, I am very thankful, has been recognized like in Forbes magazine, CBS, CNBC, Essence, and a lot of other things. So I'm just going to continue doing the work, and I'm thankful for the recognition. But I'm calling this just like an AI crash course. I'm going to try to get through it in like the next 15 minutes before the bell rings. But I'm just going to let you know why you need to learn about AI, what it is, some ways it can be helpful, some ways it is harmful, and what you can do for your next steps. So I have 3 reasons why you need to learn about AI. One, it is very profitable. So AI is going to just pump tons of money, literally trillions of dollars into the economy. So you want to make sure you're part of one of the people that's getting part of that trillions. And if you have knowledge of AI skills, you can actually be a part of that. A second reason is that employers, they are not willing to hire people without AI skills. So just last year, there was a study that said 9 out of 10 want you to come into a job, even if it's an entry level position, knowing how to use AI tools. But now just in May, this summer, they're not even willing to hire people if you don't have those skills. And that's another important reason. Then finally, this graph here, I just want you to kind of pay attention to this gray part. This is for young people, ages 14 through 22. 41% have never used AI tools. So that's a problem. And it's especially by race, ethnicity, and socioeconomic status. So the numbers are even greater for Black students and those who are living in low income areas. So that's why my company does what it does. But the good news is we're still earlier on. It's not too late. And you can actually end up being on the cutting edge for your age group with AI if you start now. So what is AI? I normally like to ask people, I can't see anyone there, but normally people say it's a robot or it's ChatGPT, but AI is not. It can be a robot, but actually 90% of robots are not AI powered. But what AI is I'm sure you notice what this is at the top. That is code. And what that code does is it allows computer systems and machines to attempt to simulate the problem solving and decision making capabilities of human beings. So basically, it's machines trying to do what humans normally do without us telling it. And it's that code, I like to say it's code that can learn. And if you know how to program computers to do this, you can make a lot of money. But that's the definition I like to use for people. I like to say AI stands for attempted intelligence, because it's trying to be like us. But another thing I like to ask people is, I can't see in the classroom, but how many of you have used AI in the past 24 hours? If you can just kind of raise your hands.
How many people have used AI in the last 24 hours? We got 2 hands up.
Okay, 2 out of how many?
3 out of 4.
2 out of 3? Okay, 2
3
out of 4. Okay. So everyone's hand should be up because AI, we've been using it, all of us, for years. We just didn't know it. So let me see if you're up on your logo game here. This is, of course, Gmail. So
yeah.
AI is used in, and AI is used in Gmail, email, to decide what goes to your inbox and what goes to your
Yeah.
spam folder. So it has learned the type of content and the subject lines that are normally spam. So if it didn't, we would have a lot of crazy stuff in our inbox. Of course, Netflix. I don't know if I have any bingers in the room, but AI is used in Netflix to recommend what movies the system thinks you want to see next, and it's based on what you've already watched. Plus, if you've commented, liked on anything, and other information from off of social media and the internet. This is, of course, Siri. Siri uses what's called natural language processing, so it's able to understand, natural language and then carry out whatever you're telling it to do, whether it's turn off the thermostat, turn off the lights. Of course, Google Maps, if any of you have your licenses or are riding with your parents, it's using your location data, and it has learned from there, okay, what are the most efficient ways to get from point A to B? And then hopefully none of you are shopping on Amazon. But Amazon has so much information about you. It has learned about you that it knows what you're going to buy before you actually purchase it. So what happens is it can predict, the AI, with a high degree of certainty, what you will actually buy. It will, in advance, send it to a fulfillment center near you. So when you do finally go ahead and buy it, it gets there in like the same day or within 24 hours.
Yeah, and just to add to
that's
that,
just-
we have a large fulfillment center right down the road here in Canton. And I know at the fulfillment center, once it's ordered, they use a lot of AI at the fulfillment center with QR codes and robots and such to let them know which box to pack and what can go in what, just as far as the weight and everything. So the AI at the fulfillment center takes place after it is ordered.
Yes, and they actually do have humanoid AI powered robots that are now helping. And then they have the ones that kind of, like you said, go and get the different things. So yeah, they have tons of AI once you buy and you purchase something. So how does AI work? This is at a very high level. Really quickly, it takes massive amounts of data called big data. And data can be anything, whether it's your voice when you're talking to Siri. Any of you who unlock your phone with your face, your face becomes data. If you're, on some things like at the airport, it scans your iris, so your eye becomes data. There's even, of course, your search history, your email, your handprint, facial recognition, text messages you send, that's all data. There's even some data where your heartbeat, you can be identified by your heartbeat in the way you walk. So pretty much a lot of data. You are data. That data is then taken by an algorithm. I like to say algorithm is just like a recipe. It's a set of very detailed rules that tells the computer what to do with all of that data. And then either a prediction is made or a task is completed. And I have this picture here, I'll kind of blow it up, of Stranger Things. Don't know if any of you have watched it, but Netflix, this is just a screenshot of 9 of the thumbprints out of, say, like 30, 40, 50 thumbnails. So based on what you have watched, thumbnails will be generated that will try to get you to watch certain movies. So down on the bottom left, if you like horror movies, it's going to generate a thumbnail that looks like a horror movie because it wants to get you to watch Stranger Things. If you're kind of adventure, the middle one, it might do that. But a cool experiment you can do is to go into your account with your family, friends, whoever, and look at a specific movie and see all the different thumbnails that were generated because it's based on the data that it has about you. So that's kind of a cool yet somewhat disturbing thing of how Netflix works.
Yeah.
Now, there's another type of AI that came out with ChatGPT in 2022, and that's called generative AI. And that's basically AI. It's a type of artificial intelligence that can create new content like images, music, text without you explicitly programming it. So in the past, you would have to program and do all these things. But now with generative AI, you can just prompt the system by giving it a description of what you want. Here are some examples. This picture right here, I am not a graphic designer, but I created this picture using AI. It took me less than a minute, but here's the prompt I use over here on the right. So I told it exactly what I wanted. I've been using these systems for a while, so I know exactly how detailed to be, but happy, cute, chubby, African-American baby girl character, 2 Afro puffs, yellow bows, a shirt that says "Got AI." She's wearing Nike. And, you know, I wanted this Candyland background. I wanted her holding out, you know, a lollipop that looks like she's giving it to me. And this is what the AI system produced for me,
Wow.
just based off of the prompt. And that was a tool I used called Ideogram. So write it down or take a screenshot, or go back and watch this video. Here's another example. I put in a prompt that said, you know, create me, you know, an aspirational rap anthem about students at Velma Jackson High School in Camden, Mississippi, about how they're learning about, you know, AI. And I put it into a music generator, and the majority of the songs were kind of whack, but this one was kind of cool. And it came up with I came up with the title. It called it Velma Vibes, but I call it Velma AI Vibes. The music you will hear is all AI. The voice you hear is AI. These lyrics are by AI. So tell me what you think.
Wow.
Yeah. Young rappers who feel like I got fire, no sweat. In Kansas City, we dream bigger, don't forget. Put a revolution, AI in our veins, making moves like Einstein, breaking all chains. Just in our hands, never on pause. Changing the game without breaking no laws. Algorithm shimmer, database the scene. Smart kids, smart moves, living the dream. From classrooms to courtrooms, we rise. AI minds, we
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so I did that like earlier, well, a little bit before this. I was like, oh, let me do a song. So it generated the song literally.
Wow.
I just typed it in, hey, do this, blah, blah, blah. And this is the song it came up with. So that's just generative AI, some of the things you can do. You don't have to know how to code. I've heard people say that English is the new programming language of the future.
Yeah.
So as long as you know how to type and talk to these AI systems, you can tell it what to do. So these are just some of the other ways AI is being used. Like you had said earlier, it's being used across all sectors, huge in transportation. I just put this picture here because here in Florida where I was, they were trying to do an AI self-driving school bus, but it got shut down by the Department of Transportation. But there was no driver. But there are robo-taxis. So if you go places like, you know, out in California, there's tons, Austin, Texas, you get into a vehicle and there's no driver, but it has learned the roads, and it gets better and better and better, and it can take you to where you're going. Payment technology. Once again, here in Florida, where I'm at, the kids, even elementary, they're paying for their school lunches by just AI is able to scan their palm print, and it's connected to their parents' payment information. So they just go through the line, they put it, and it keeps it going. And it's at grocery stores, hotels, theme parks, and other places as well. Food and dining. I don't know if you have White Castle where you're at in Mississippi, but a lot of the fast food restaurants now are using AI-powered robots to now flip the burgers and drop the fries. So where there used to be maybe 10 people in the kitchen and helping, you'll now say like 2, and 2 people are overseeing these AI-powered robots. This one is called Flippy the robot, and it flips the burgers, drops the fries, and takes the orders and does everything. It's being used in agriculture. So this is a robo bee. So these bees are solar powered. They're able to scan.
Wow.
They have sensors on them that can look at fields and see which parts haven't been pollinated yet. And then it's able to go to those fields and pollinate it. The farmers who use these are seeing 4 to 5 times more yield from their crops than just normal bees.
Wow.
Also, for those of you who are in marketing or interested in marketing, Levi's last summer wanted for diversity, equity, inclusion, because there's not that many Black models that they had. They used AI to make their own models. So that person you see is not real. And they're able to allow the make a model of any color, any hair, any body shape. And a lot of luxury models are now doing that. There's even sites where you can make your own AI influencers. And
Wow.
that's where we're at right now. And I'm trying to figure out, I don't know how many minutes I have. I'm gonna try to finish up in 3
Oh, you're
minutes.
good. You're good.
Okay. So that's just some of the ways AI is super helpful. There are also some downsides to it. So if anyone's used Siri, people with disabilities, speech impediments, people with certain accents, Siri does not recognize them. So that means those people don't have access to that technology. Therefore, it can't help them to the degree that it can. Also, AI is being used a lot for college entry. So your information's your application's going through these algorithms, and unfortunately, people are being kept out, especially Black students and Hispanic students, students who went to HBCUs and students who went to community college are kind of being turned down from going to four-year universities. And even for student aid, they're being charged higher interest rates on student loans because the AI algorithms have kind of learned that, hey, these aren't, good stewards over money, so we need to charge them more interest. Also, there's environmental aspects to AI. So it puts out a lot of carbon. It's a huge carbon footprint. It's causing water shortages because there's a lot of power required. And to cool those systems with all the power, you need lots of water. So people in the areas where these data centers are paying more for electricity. If you had a data center where you're at, you're gonna see water shortages as well. I showed you that music generator, but there's image generators as well. But unfortunately, artists are seeing that AI is stealing their work, whether it's music, art. So there's a lot of legal cases being brought against these companies because they're basically just going through the whole internet to train their AI algorithms without permission. Also, unfortunately, people are using AI. People are already scamming people, but now with AI tools, they're able to really take advantage of people and make it more convincing that it's an actual person. So this particular one, $25 million. Basically what happened is a person, called an employee, hey, we need you to transfer this money into these 3 different accounts. The employee was kind of skeptical. So the person, hey, let's hop on a call. So when they got on the call, they saw, the boss, the CEO, their supervisor, all these different people. They explained to the employee, this is why we need you to move the money. The only problem was none of the people on the call were real. Someone had used AI to make it look like them, trained an AI and trained on their voices to make it sound like them. And that person got away with $25 million. And those are called deep fake. Yeah. And then unfortunately, there was a study recently by Stanford that found that ChatGPT, of all things, gives really poor advice based on whether you have a Black sounding name or not. So they ask people like, hey, I'm going for this new job. What should I ask for a starting salary? The person who was named Brad, oh, you should ask for 93,000. But the other person, Tamika, Janika, whatever, oh, you should ask for 70,000. So they found, based on what your name sounds like, unfortunately, the algorithms are giving different. So that's different outcomes. So that's how some of the ways of how it's harmful. Now, what can you do? I would just say, try it out for yourself. There's just different AI tools out there. I have this picture up here because this is a group of middle school students. They actually couldn't really understand me. I found out later that they didn't speak English really well, but they were using AI in the form of Google Translate to understand what I was saying. And then when I asked them, hey, someone give me a prompt for this AI generator, they were like, they're like a Venezuelan Superman playing football. And I was like, do you mean soccer? They were like, no, football. But this is the picture that the system had learned, like when you say football and it's Venezuela, it means soccer. So they were super excited about that. So just try it. build something. I was talking to a group of teenagers this past summer in the small town called Bartow, Florida, where I'm at. This girl, she wanted to start her own nail salon. So I showed her, there's one AI that actually allows you, it creates nail designs. You go in there, you tell it the colors, what type of effects, whatever. It comes up with all these designs. But she also made a logo with an AI logo maker I showed her. So she was super excited. Like, hey, when she does have her business, she has her logo. Some other students even went on to build some prototypes for things. There's an AI that helped them come up with business names. So just in a single afternoon, within an hour, they were able to create all these things to help them on their path for their dreams. And then finally, tell others about AI. AI is not just for, computer science majors. It's not just for young people. AI is for everyone. I had the opportunity, I've had several opportunities to talk to older people. So you, your family, nieces, nephews, everyone can learn about this technology. I think it should be a community thing where we're all using it for the different aspects of our life. But that is AI. You learn, the more you tell other people about it, the more you learn about it. So that is it.
That was incredible. I did not know some of that stuff. That is, I mean, every time you're with us, I just learn more. But you mentioned about everybody, whether you're going to be a tech person or not, needs to be familiar. We have a couple young men in here with me right now that I know are interested in getting into trucking, which obviously could be a very lucrative industry. We always need good drivers, but having AI skills, even as a person behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler, can be very useful. You mentioned GPS, when you mentioned things like weather predictors, things like load predictors. So what are some other areas that AI could really be helpful when you might not think about it would be so helpful?
Yeah, literally anything you can think of. Like I was just last week talking to a bunch of lawyers. So if you're in an industry like that, you can use AI to do the research. You have to be very careful with it though, because it does have something called hallucinations. And that's where it just makes up stuff if it doesn't know what it is. But even if you're just running a small business, it can help a lot with, helping keep track of your finances or helping you create. There's an AI at the event I had where you can literally make an entire website by putting in a prompt. And back to the truckers, it would be very helpful as well for like the logistics, like figuring out what, loads need to go where and finding more efficient routes than you normally would have been able to do. I was going to say, anyone who's interested in like psychology, therapy and things like that, those are some of the top bots, if you want to call them chat bots on like the GPT stores. Even within teaching, I'm sure you probably use AI maybe for some of the things, a lot of the software. So yeah, pretty much anything you can think of. There's a way to use AI to help make things more efficient, especially administratively.
Yeah, and then also there's a huge need for more kids to learn AI and get into AI fields. I know I connected you with Dr. Misty Freeman, who wrote the book about unconscious AI bias, and she's going to be with us in a couple of weeks. But there's things like that you don't think about where we need diversity at the table when this technology is developed. And look, and she even said herself, because AI is getting big in healthcare, it's being used to diagnose diseases, being used to determine medications. But when AI is only designed by a certain type of people, certain groups fall through the cracks. And it's not intentional. It's not that these people are evil, but they don't have the same perspective of Hispanic American or African American with certain health issues. So that is why I think is another reason why everybody needs to look at how AI can help and why they should look at these AI careers.
Yeah, because literally the way I see it, every career is an AI career. And then the more you're using the tools, the more you can help shape what it will be. So like you said, there is a certain kind, the majority of the people right now using it are men. So even as far as, women and men using it, There's a lot more, younger people per se, millennials using it, and not so many older people, so it's going to be biased against them. And then just different areas geographically are using it. So we all need to have a part in it to decide what it will be. If not, someone else is going to decide, and it's just going to learn from that. And then the problem will just get worse. So that's why I encourage, especially young people, to get involved now.
Now, I do have some questions from them, but the last thing I want to talk about before I get to that is we've had several people since I've started doing this that have said, look, even if you don't want to focus strictly on tech and AI in college, if you want to get a degree in something else, it's not a bad idea to maybe get a certification in one of these AI programs that you can get online in a matter of weeks. And they've said that makes you a more attractive candidate because let's say you have a marketing degree, but you also have a certification in AI. You've got the degree in sales experience with the internships, but you also know how to use the AI to reach certain customers. So if somebody says, look, I'm interested in AI, but that's not really the field I want to go into. Is it a good idea to say major in this, but get the certification in AI also?
Yeah, because I call that, career plus AI equals more money. And even without certifications, because I would say I don't have any certifications per se, but I have a huge portfolio of things that I've built. So there's lots of free courses you can go online and take through things like Coursera. And so when you get those, it posted on LinkedIn. Like I don't post mine, like I have a bunch, but I don't post them on there. But if you show those certifications, like I said, a lot of them are free, but if you have a portfolio, hey, I know how to make a newsletter with AI. Hey, I know how to use AI to do spreadsheets. I know how to make videos. Employers will see that and they'll be like, oh yeah. And the research shows that people are willing to hire someone who has AI skills but no experience for the position over someone who has the experience in the position but doesn't know AI. So that's how I'm able to get a lot of opportunities. It wasn't my major or anything, but I just go try out the tools, tinker with them. I know how to complete tasks that businesses, entrepreneurs, corporations want, and that's what they will pay for. Right now, people who even get these AI skills, they're saying on average $20,000 increases in raises and pay above those who don't. Yeah.
Wow. And it's like we said last time, it's not that the jobs are going away, but the skills are changing. So it's even for the kids that are interested in the trade careers, there's more and more AI being used in trade careers, especially in plumbing, electricians. They're using AI every day when it comes to materials and purchasing and all kinds of things.
Yes, it's definitely something, like I said, a lot of people still haven't used it yet. Like they've heard of it, like people might have heard of ChatGPT or character AI or, the different things that are on social media. But if you really just hone in and learn how to use it to do some tasks for a job or even help you create your own business, like you literally can create an entire business in almost like a day. Like you can write a business plan. You can do your website, you can do your logo, you can, write the captions for your products using AI. So.
Wow. Well, I do have some questions from the students, and these are all really good. So I'm gonna try to get to all these. This first one is Cortez Maxwell. He's in 10th grade, and I love this question. He said, I learned today that AI is not a robot like you said. I thought it always was. Why do you think people think only as robots as far as AI?
And that is an excellent question. Because everything we've seen, those conceptions come from movies, comic books, and all the shows we've ever seen. When they talk about artificial intelligence, they always show us a robot. So it's kind of like, it's called a trope. And so because people don't show you, hey, Netflix, YouTube, you don't think about it. You just think, oh, the robot. It can be a robot, like I said, but most times it's not. So I just think because Hollywood has kind of trained our minds that that's what it is. But once you really study it and get down into it, you realize, oh, it's a machine, running software that can learn And it's everywhere, and I've been using it and I didn't even know it. But that's a great
Yeah,
question.
absolutely. This is Bryson Stevens. He's in ninth grade, and he asked, "What is the hardest part about learning AI?"
I guess I think it's the mindset, because when I travel across the country and I talk to lots of people. So I think it's the mindset. People have, and this happens in science too, because I saw it with my students when I taught eighth grade. They think it's for somebody else, like, oh, it's for, those, really smart, geeky white computer science, guys out there. They don't think that anyone can do it. But if you have a curious mindset, and you're willing to tinker and play and try things out, and it's okay if you make a mistake, then nothing can be hard. Like even physics. Like I went into physics, I didn't know anything about it. I grew up, family 1 of 7. Nobody in my family went to college. But
Wow.
in my mind, I'm like, hey, I think I can do this. I'm very curious. And people around me were encouraging me, but it starts with your mindset. If you think it's for you, if you think you can do it, then you can. And I'm telling you, you can. So
Absolutely. Well, I've got 2 more. This is Rashawn Smith. He's a senior. One of the ones I said was interested in trucking, and he asked, "What inspired you to get into AI, and do you think AI is taught enough in schools?"
oof. Okay. So what inspired me to get into it is I had a fellowship. I was out in Silicon Valley. That's where all the big tech companies are, like Google, Netflix, Microsoft, Intel. So while I was out there, everything they were talking about AI, that was like 5 years ago in 2019. And so I thought to myself, like, whoa, my community, the people I know, the students I taught when I was teaching, they're not going to know anything about this. They're going to just get body slammed by this. I also was afraid I don't want anyone, that I know to get left behind. So that really made me want to do something. So I created a curriculum, and first, started going to schools, but since then I'm just like, I got to go to communities outside of the schools. And as far as it being taught in schools, right now it is being taught, into a lot of schools to some degrees, but they normally only teach it in computer science courses, but not all high schools. I believe it's something like only 47% of high schools have basic computer science courses. And then even if it is taught, I don't think it's taught in a way that's relatable to students. I think in a lot of instances it's taught in a very technical aspect, which is fine. But I like to start with, hey, this is how it's used in your everyday life. Here are some cool things you can do. Just making it more reliable. Then also it's more often taught in schools that are, more wealthier students,
Yeah.
in the schools where they're not hearing about it at all. So
Yeah.
it's kind of being taught, but not in the places, it's not even across the boards. So
Yeah, I agree. This is my last one. This is Zarius Cooper. He's a senior, one of our football players here. And he asked, "What are some challenges that you had to face as a upcoming technologist and being one of the few Black women in the field?"
I think the biggest thing is being underestimated. Like I remember one of the programs I was in, because I didn't go to like Harvard, Yale, things like that. No one had heard of University of South Florida. So they just kind of doubted that I even knew what I was talking about. And it is dominated by guys. So they try to mansplain, like explain to me and tell me things like, what are you talking about right now? I already know that. I guess just being, underestimated. But what I have found, and this goes not just for AI, but even being in physics, that nobody can argue with results. So I'm the type of person, I don't do a lot of talking. I'm just going to do it and show it. And my work will speak for itself. So I think having that positive mindset, and then of course, knowing my stuff, studying super hard, and just having a level of excellence kind of overcomes that. And then the other thing is just, people say imposter syndrome, doubting myself. But I've learned to get rid of that mindset. So yeah.
Yeah, and just real quick, Dillard University is one of the top HBCUs in the country. So for everybody that's interested in the HBCU experience, Dillard University down in New Orleans is a great academic setting, and you would have that community to really build your skills in a like-minded community. So I'm a big supporter of HBCUs. So anybody that's considering HBCU, I consider them to take a look at Dillard because I know they offer a lot of great things to prepare you for that next level.
Yeah, because my son, he just graduated from an HBCU, North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride.
Hardest HBCU in the country.
So, yes. So yeah, definitely, like you said, the community and the confidence and encouragement from the professors and your peers, unmatched.
Absolutely. Well, we're almost out of time. And as always, we thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us. But before we go, first of all, blackunicorneducation.com.
Yes. And
So that's where all of your
mhm.
stuff is. You got all kind of information about you on there, all your social medias, you got some videos of some of the things you're doing, really cool stuff. But before we go, you mentioned how AI is getting into every field, whether we want to admit it or not. But so why should these kids in middle school, high school, or as they get into college or their career, really learn as much AI as they can to be successful in their careers?
I would say that you can, and I tell this to people all the time, you can literally become a leader in AI now, like as a student. Like I have met, like I think she was like 17 or 18. I was on a panel with someone, but she's like traveling around the world because her thing is AI ethics. Like she's interested in law, so she just started learning everything about that. But you can actually start a business with AI tools. Like if you learn how to use the AI image generators, you can then put that on t-shirts and then start a business. But my main thing is this is one of the unique times in history where we don't have to be behind. So normally we're behind the curve. Black people kind of come along afterwards, but this is one time you can lead the charge. It's going to make you more desirable for employers when they see like, oh, you already know how to do this. They're definitely going to pluck you up. But it just gives you that advantage. And by the time, if you start learning it now, by the time you graduate, you're going to be a whiz. Of course, it's still changing very rapidly. But if you just start now, I'm sure you can get, internships. I've had students who have gone through summer programs with me. They used it on their college applications. They got into the schools of their choice because they were able to show that they're already using it. They're on the cutting edge. So I would say it just gives you a competitive edge. You get to decide and shape how it's going to be. It makes you more desirable. And yeah, you can use it to basically carry out whatever dreams are inside of your head.
And it's here to stay. It really is here to stay. So again, Dr. Ora Tanner, all the way from Tampa, Florida, unbelievable presentation. We thank you so much. I learn something every time you speak. So we thank you for taking some time for us today.
Okay, no, thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to next time.
All right, we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Yep, see ya, bye.